What are you going through at the moment?
I'm a leaseholder, a shared owner leaseholder in a property that is 16 years old. We have received a couple of bills so far, one for £4,500 to replace decking, which was fire combustible, and to pay for a man to be our waking watch during nighttime hours. And then we received a subsequent bill for £97,000 for remedial work, which would make good the building, allegedly make it fire safe and replace cladding and the internal structures of the building.
Are you getting any help for this? There's the Building Safety Fund now.
The Building Safety Fund unfortunately doesn't cover us because our building is under 18 metres tall. We're only 13.5 metres tall, so we don't qualify for the Building Safety Fund. We've been told by the government that we may be eligible for a loan when the loans are released. We don't know what the criteria is for them. In my case, though, if I were to consider a loan, it will be interest-bearing and repaid at a rate of £50 per month. For me to enter into that arrangement, it would take approximately 163 years for me to repay the financing.
Now, bearing in mind the size of your building, the government deems it safe, does it not? And yet, you feel unsafe there.
The government deems it safe. We've made enquiries and we've found that when the building was constructed, they didn't comply with the regulations and they didn't comply with the specifications of the original plan. So we don't have fire safety breaks and other things that should have been put in place originally. So although the government deems us safe, we're actually more at risk than if a building was completed just before Grenfell with similar materials.
And Darren, there you are facing this huge financial impact. And of course, you can't even sell the building, no doubt.
No.
Your apartment.
Sorry, initially there was equity in my building and in my apartment. At the moment, we don't have a fire safety certificate. The apartments are not sellable. Nobody will be able to get a mortgage on purchasing such a property. So we're stuck in them at the moment and they're valueless.
What are you going to do? Because obviously you're not the only one in this predicament and fighting this battle, no doubt, as a group. Do you have any confidence that you'll get your voice heard?
We've made contact direct with Lord Stevens and with Mr Jenrick. We had a meeting online, a group of us based in the Northwest, had a meeting with Mr Stevens, with Lord Stevens. He promised some support. He's yet to put his promise and his words into action and actually put the words and the promise of support down on paper, enshrined in law. At the moment, the government are advocating support. They haven't put it down on paper as part of legislation, so they're empty words as far as we can see.
Well, and of course the government's advocating you can sue these rogue developers as such, and if you can prove, obviously, your cladding is unsafe, the building's unsafe, what sort of legal costs and backup can you get to actually carry out that legal action, or is that, again, well beyond your grasp?
At the moment, we don't know the ins and outs, the financial implications of it, but we imagine to raise a litigation against the building company and the developers and the freeholder would be beyond our means. At the moment, we're facing bills of £100,000. Litigation is expensive. We don't know the exact specification of how we would enshrine that litigation. So at the moment, our hands are tied. We're in buildings that aren't safe. We're worried and...
Well, I was going to ask you just finally, how is this impacting your daily life then, this worry, this fear?
Well, without sounding dramatic, it's constantly in our thoughts when we wake up in the morning, when we go about our daily routine. It's still in our thoughts when we go to bed. It affects our health, it affects our well-being, it affects our sleeping pattern. It completely takes over everything that is happening in your life.